Hello, my dear students. We are in lecture number 4 on Morse wire spectroscopy. In this video, we will discuss the removal of difficulties in resonance absorption. In the previous videos, we have seen that the resonance absorption takes place only when the energy or frequency of emitted gamma ray matches to the energy or frequency of absorbed gamma ray. We have also seen that the energy of emitted gamma ray, that is ET minus ER, differs from the energy required for the excitation of ground state isomeric nucleus, that is ET minus EKE, due to nuclear recoil and gain of kinetic energy by newly excited nucleus. These two terms differ in energy due to nuclear recoil and gain of kinetic energy by newly excited nucleus. The line width of gamma ray is narrow. The factors 2 and 3 prevent the resonance absorption. Now the question arises how these difficulties can be removed. The difficulties in resonance absorption can be removed as follows. First of all, we should be able to modify the energy of gamma ray. We should be able to modify the energy of gamma ray emission to match it with the energy of gamma ray required for the excitation of isomeric ground state nucleus present in different chemical environment. Let us see it again. We should be able to modify the energy of gamma ray emission to match it with the energy of gamma ray required for the excitation of isomeric ground state nucleus present in different chemical environment. This is excited nucleus. It is ground state nucleus. The excited nucleus emits gamma rays and undergoes de-excitation. The ground state nucleus absorbs gamma ray and undergoes excitation. For resonance absorption, the energy of emitted gamma ray should be equal to energy of absorbed gamma ray. And for this purpose, we should be able to modify the frequency of emitted gamma ray. We should be able to modify the energy or frequency of emitted gamma ray. Then a question arises how the frequency of emitted gamma ray can be modified. Morse wire was the first person who utilized Doppler effect. Morse wire was the first person who utilized Doppler effect to modify the gamma ray energy emitted from the source in order to achieve an exact match with the absorber for the resonance absorption to take place. Please note that Morse wire was the first person who utilized the Doppler effect to modify the gamma ray energy or gamma ray frequency emitted from the source in order to achieve an exact match with the absorber for resonance absorption to take place. We will see later that a relative velocity of 1 centimeter per second produces a Doppler shift of about 10 to the power 8 per second. If the source of gamma ray has a relative velocity of 1 centimeter per second, the Doppler shift will be of about 10 to the power 8 per second. This is about 100 times. This Doppler shift is about 100 times of the line width, which is 10 to the power 6 per second, and is sufficiently wide. The Doppler shift is sufficiently wide for scanning the Morse wire spectrum. The excited nucleus, the ground state nucleus. The excited nucleus emits gamma ray in this direction. If the source of gamma ray is moving towards the absorber, the frequency of gamma ray will increase. This is absorber and it is source of gamma ray. If the source of gamma ray is moving towards the absorber, the frequency of emitted gamma ray will increase. In another case, the source of gamma ray is moving away from the absorber, then the frequency of emitted gamma ray will decrease. Thus, by providing relative velocity to the source of gamma ray, we can increase or decrease the frequency of emitted gamma ray. Prove that a relative velocity of 1 centimeter per second produces a Doppler shift of about 10 to the power 8 per second. As we have seen earlier, a relative velocity of 1 centimeter per second produces a Doppler shift of 10 to the power 8 per second. How it can be proved? In the case of excited Fe57 nucleus emitting gamma ray with frequency 3.5 into 10 to the power 18 per second, we have already calculated in earlier videos. Recoil velocity is equal to 8.2 into 10 to the power 3 centimeter per second and Doppler shift is 10 to the power 12 per second. Therefore, recoil velocity of 1 centimeter per second is equivalent to a Doppler shift of 10 to the power 12 divided by 8.2 into 10 to the power 3 per second, that is about 10 to the power 8 per second. If the source of gamma ray has a relative velocity of 1 centimeter per second, there will be a huge amount of Doppler shift and it is equal to 10 to the power 8 per second. In order to scan complete a spectrum point by point, the source of gamma ray is provided a large number of relative velocities with respect to the absorber in the range 1 centimeter per second to minus 1 centimeter per second, so that the energy of emitted gamma ray may become equal to the energy required for the excitation of ground state nucleus. Let us see it again. In order to scan complete a spectrum point by point, the source of gamma ray is provided a large number of relative velocities with respect to the absorber in the range plus 1 centimeter per second to minus 1 centimeter per second, so that the energy of emitted gamma ray may become equal to the energy required for the excitation of ground state nucleus, and resonance absorption may take place. Please note that the positive Doppler velocity means the source is moving towards the sample or absorber and the frequency of emitted gamma ray increases. In this case, we know that the Doppler shift is given by nu into v by c. If the Doppler velocity, that is v, is positive, delta nu will be positive and the frequency of emitted gamma ray will increase. The negative Doppler velocity means the source is moving away from the sample or absorber and the frequency of emitted gamma ray decreases. Doppler shift delta nu equals to frequency of emitted gamma ray into Doppler velocity by c. If v is negative, then delta nu will be negative and the frequency of gamma ray will decrease. Now the time for self-assessment. A question will appear before you. Please read it carefully. Calculate the Doppler velocity or recoil velocity in millimeter per second corresponding to natural line width of gamma ray emission. Corresponding to natural line width of gamma ray emission from a 23.8 kilo electron volt excited state nucleus of SN119 having a half-life period of about 1.8 into 10 power minus 8 seconds. The energy of gamma ray source is 23.8 kilo electron volt. Its half-life is 1.85 into 10 to the power minus 8 seconds. Then we have to calculate the Doppler velocity, that is V, corresponding to natural line width. The equation helpful in this problem is Doppler shift equals to frequency of gamma ray into Doppler velocity by C. We have to calculate V. For this purpose, we should be able to calculate natural line width and frequency. First of all, we will calculate delta nu, then nu, and finally V. Please pause the video and try to solve the problem within 10 minutes. Here is the solution. First of all, we have to calculate natural line width. Natural line width 1 by 2 pi delta t, where delta t is average life period, or natural line width is equals to 1 by 2 into 3.14 into t half by 0.693. Please note that the average life period is given by t half divided by 0.693, or natural line width is equal to 1 by 2 into 3.14 and t half is given by 1.85 into 10 power minus 8 second by 0.693. On solving this equation, we have natural line width equals to 6 into 10 power 6 per second. This is the natural line width delta nu. Then we will calculate the frequency of emitted gamma ray. For this purpose, we can write energy of gamma ray is given by h nu, and the energy of gamma ray will be equal to 23.8 kilo electron volt, which is equal to 23.8 to 10 to the power 3 electron volt, and 1 electron volt is equals to 1.602 into 10 to the power minus 19 joule. This is the value of Planck's constant and frequency of emitted gamma ray. On solving this equation, the frequency of emitted gamma ray comes to be 5.75 into 10 to the power 18 per second. And finally, we will calculate the Doppler velocity using this equation. Delta nu equals to nu into V by C. We have already calculated delta nu 6 into 10 to the power 6 per second. The frequency of emitted gamma ray 5.75 into 10 to the power 18 per second, as we have already calculated. This is the velocity of electromagnetic radiation, gamma radiation, and this is Doppler velocity V. On solving this equation, we get the Doppler velocity equal to 0.313 millimeter per second. The second way of removing the difficulty in resonance absorption. In 1958, Morswire showed that the resonance capture of gamma ray can occur. Morswire showed that the resonance capture of gamma ray can occur with moderate efficiency if both the source and the absorber are contained in solid lattices. In 1958, Morswire showed that the resonance capture of gamma ray can occur with moderate efficiency if both the source of gamma ray and the absorber of gamma ray are contained in solid lattices. This is due to the fact that on doing so, the nucleus will neither recoil during the emission nor gain kinetic energy during the absorption of gamma ray. This is due to the fact that if the source of gamma ray and the absorber of gamma ray are contained in solid lattices, the nucleus will neither recoil during the emission of gamma ray or nor gain kinetic energy during the absorption of gamma ray. It can be understood as follows why it happens. We know that kinetic energy is equal to 1 by 2 mv squared. It can be written as 1 by 2 into mv squared. We know that mass into velocity is equal to momentum and it can be represented by P. Therefore, this equation can be written as kinetic energy equals to P square divided by 2m. If P is constant, the kinetic energy is inversely proportional to m. Thus, for a given momentum, that is for constant momentum, the kinetic energy is inversely proportional to mass. Kinetic energy is inversely proportional to mass if P is constant. On moving from individual nucleus to a small crystal, the mass increases by a factor of 10 to the power 18. If gamma ray source or gamma ray absorber is fixed in a crystal lattice, its mass increases by 10 to the power 18 times. If mass increases by 10 to the power 18 times, then kinetic energy will become negligible, and thus the kinetic energy involved in the emission and absorption processes will become negligible. If mass is increased, kinetic energy will be very small. On moving from individual nucleus to a small crystal, mass increases by 10 to the power 18 times, and therefore kinetic energy involved in the emission or absorption process will become very negligible. As a result, on moving from individual nucleus to crystal lattice, the difference between emitted gamma ray energy, that is ET minus ER, and the energy required for resonance absorption, that is ET plus EKE, becomes smaller because the recoil energy and kinetic energy both become very small on increasing the mass. The overlap zone of emission band and absorption band has greater area. This is emission band, this is absorption band, and it is overlap zone. But if the absorber of gamma ray and emitter of gamma ray are fixed in solid crystal lattices, the value of 2RE, 2ER or 2EKE will decrease. That is, separation between two bands will become smaller. As a result, the overlap zone area will become large, and thus resonance absorption takes place more efficiently. Let us see again, if the absorber of gamma ray and the source of gamma ray is fixed in solid crystal lattice, the mass increases. As a result, the kinetic energy decreases largely, and the difference between energy of emitted gamma ray and energy required for the resonance absorption becomes smaller. And when this energy difference becomes smaller, the overlap zone increases and resonance absorption takes place more efficiently. Thank you for watching the video with concentration. Please like, share and subscribe.